Hi, I'm gonna be singing Hovering by Miley Cyrus, and I hope you like it. Miley Cyrus and Chase, Hovering. Yeah. Hold on. What the heck is that? No, not what I want. No! Shut up! Shut up. What was that? I don't even know what that was.